All right, welcome back. In this module, I want to show you the other spreadsheet that's down below, the revenue valuation tool. This is from my good friend Scott Dietz at Northbound. He's the one that does the exit ticket, as well as one of the modules down below, and he's one of the top exit planners in the business to help you get maximum value when you sell. Now, the other spreadsheet we just did, if you did that first, the profit first, shows you what you need to do to make the income that you want to make. Actually, I need to make 50 grand a year, or whatever your basic income is. That gives you a rough idea of where you need to be for that. Now, maybe on the flip side of that, you're like, okay, that's great. I don't really care about the 50 grand a year. In the example I gave, I want an exit. I want $5 million. That's where I want to be. I want to be able to sell my company for $5 million 3 years from now. What do I need to do? How many products do I need to launch? What kind of margins do I need to try to maintain to actually be able to sell my business for $5 million? So that's what this spreadsheet will help you get a rough estimate of, so you have a goal and a target to go for. So the first thing you want to do is you want to scroll down and you want to fill out, you follow the steps here, instructions for you, fill out the target pricing and profitability metrics for your business. If you're not going to know what this is right away, so you're just going to be guessing probably in the beginning, but if I'm assume I can sell 10 units a day of something, that's not a bestseller. That's just kind of middle of the pack, actually probably lower end of the pack. But I can tell you 10 units a day, and let's say I'm starting off with, I hope to have in 3 years from now 5 products, and most of my products, I think they're going to be, some of them are going to be $15, $20, some of them be $40, some I might have something that's a little bit more, but I'm not sure. But I'm shooting for a target price of, Kevin said $50 to $100 is the best place to be. So I'm going to go on the low end of that. I'm going to say my average sales price per unit is $50. And I'm targeting an annual revenue of, what did it say earlier, $2 million from that other one. So a target revenue of $2 million. And so I fill that in over here where it says target revenue. And what this is going to show me is that if I don't have enough products here to actually reach this. So you can see here, in the average number of products per day is 10, only 5 products at $50 average. That's 18,000 sold per year. Oh, it's only about $912,000 of revenue. So I'm going to have to change something. I may have to sell more, like 20 a day, or if I'm just going to sell 10, I'm going to have to probably double this one, and maybe even raise it to 11. So I'm like, okay, shoot, I need 11 products selling 10 a day. I don't want to manage 11 products, so I'm going to try to find products that are selling an average of 22 a day, and I'm going to try to do this with 6 products or 5 products. So now I'm at that 2 million. And you see how you can back this up? And so it kind of gives you an idea when you go product searching and we go product hunting, what you need to be looking for or what your goals may be. Now, you're not going to do all these at one time. You're going to wrap these up. So this is not a dead on, the first year, you might not do 2 million. You might be ramping up to that. But that's your goal, is to get to that level. So my annual target revenue is $2 million. I got the 5 products here at $50. There we go, everything. It's about 40,000 units per year that I'm going to be selling. And then you can come down here in the profit and loss, and there's some percentages that are already filled in for you, but you can change these. Amazon selling fees, we know are typically about 15%, but in case that changes in the future, or you're in a category, some categories are a little bit lower than that. If you're in one of those categories, you can adjust it. Amazon FBA fees are 18%. Amazon FBA fees over the last 5 years have gone up quite a bit. I'm going to raise this up to more like 22%. It's probably a more realistic number. My product cost, remember, I told you need to try to 5x it at least. So if you're selling for $20, it needs to be $4. So that's 20%. So it's 20% of the selling price is your product cost. My shipping cost to get over, call it's about 5% of the product cost to get over, because I'm going to be using sea shipment. My duties, this depends on, if it's under a Trump tariff, it might be it's going to be 25% plus the duty. So I'm going to put 27%. So that's only a gross profit margin of 11%. That's not good. Remember, you want to be shooting for 20%. So what does that mean? That means I need to come back up here on the product cost, and I need to try to find something that I can maybe have this at only 15%, or I got to lower my shipping maybe to 4%. Or I got to not do something with these duties. I got to look at not China, because China has a 25% surcharge for the tariff, the Trump tariff. Maybe I need to go source in India or Vietnam or Mexico or Indonesia or somewhere else where I only have to pay that, say, a 2 or 3% duty. And then I have more margin. You see how this works? I have more margin here on the product cost and my shipping costs because it's coming out of India a little bit more. All right, so to heck with China, because I ain't gonna pay those tariffs. I can't find the right factory there. I'm gonna look elsewhere so that I can meet these targets. This will help you get a goal, a mindset and a goal when you're going into this. So you're not just going into this blindly. Because if you're just using the tools like Bradley shows you with Helium-10 and just looking for random things, you see a great opportunity, like, oh, that's a good one, I could sell that. Maybe it's not the best thing for you to sell because it doesn't meet your goals here. So you got to put all this stuff together to actually have a true plan, so you're not just throwing darts in the night and seeing what sticks and hoping you get there one day. So now I got a contribution of 21%. I got some other expenses of 5%. Maybe I can even come back up here and because I'm going to Vietnam, there's some better price. I can get to 18%, try to save on my shipping by consolidating some stuff or using SKU drop or somebody. And now I'm at about 19% net operating cost. That's a good target to be at. Add backs, those are, remember, if you haven't gone to the module yet, those are things like you're paying yourself a little bit extra, you got extra fees, or you had mold costs, or you got like basically one-time fees, or things that a buyer might not have to do. He's not going to have to pay for the trademarks. He's not going to, if you went to a bunch of shows and spent $20,000 traveling to conferences and for learning, they're not going to have that. So you'd add that back in. 3% is a reasonable number to keep there. So now you're at a SDE, or seller's discretionary earnings, of 22%. And depending on the multiple is going to vary, but at a 2.5 multiple, this means your business is worth $1.1 million. In the example earlier on the other spreadsheet, we were estimating like 1.2 million. So it's pretty close. So this will help you so if you have a target goal, if you're like, man, $1 million ain't going to do anything for me. I need $4 million. Well, just come back up here, and that means you're going to have to change something. If your target means you're probably going to have to go for like a $5 million target revenue, and you're going to have more products. Maybe you have to have maybe instead of 22 a day, you get some best sellers, and there you go. You get 30 units a day of 10 products. So it's less products, but you're selling more per day. You're going for a different type of product type, and maybe like instead of $50 products, man, I'm going to go after $75 products. Or if you go after $25 products, you see it screws everything up. You got to sell more of them. But if I go after $75 product, I found some cool electronic product or something. Now at 8.2 million, I don't have to sell as many. Maybe I can only do this with 7 products. You see how I'm just playing around with this? And maybe I only got to sell 25 a day. And let's do 8 products. There we go. That's close enough. Now I have a ballpark of this. I'm going to keep all these the same for now. You could adjust them. Now my business is worth $3 million. Our estimated value 2.7, but the valuation, that's 2 different ways of estimating it here. Or if I because I'm at a higher, maybe I'll get a higher multiple. The more profit you have, usually the higher the multiple. So at the lower end, if you're sub million, it's a 1 to 2x multiple typically. If you're between $1 million and Scott can tell you this better, and these are constantly changing. But between $1 million and $2.5 million or $3 million, it's more like a 2. You get above 2 or 3 million, it can start going up to closer to a 3. And the higher you go, that multiple could go up. So let's just call it a 3 multiple. So I'm at 3.6 million, but I want to hit $5 million. So that means something else has got to change. So I'm going to have to see if I got to do $6 million in sales to be able to sell this company for $5 million. Then I maybe have to sell 30 a day of these items. Or let's go back to 25 and let's just change it. Let's add another item, 9. Okay, close enough right there. Now where am I at? I'm at 4 million. So you see how you can play with this? So you can set some goals. Now, real life is going to be a little bit different than this. It's not going to exactly work out this exact way, but this gives you some guidance and some goals, depending on what you're trying to do, so you can make a roadmap and a plan and approach your product discovery, your product selection, your launches, all your finances, what you do and what you don't do, from a really good working backwards point, and not from a point of, like I said, just throwing darts and hoping something works out. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Go ahead and play with this spreadsheet and play around with it and use it as your guiding light, and best of luck to you.